Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the dinner table. I am your host, as always, Nick, joined by my father, Mike.
Hello, everyone.
This week, we are doing something. Well, no, we're not really doing anything that different, are we? Another list. We like lists. We're men. It's a man
That's
thing.
sort of like a list.
Yeah, it is, but actually, I think it could be good conversation.
Yeah.
But we're doing of our age, I guess, in what we grew up with and what I guess affected us in a way. At least that is for me. Protest songs.
Yeah, that's kind of the way I viewed it. Protest songs from my era of music, growing up era of music, which there was a lot of because of the Vietnam War and all that. But, and yeah, that's kind of it. And go ahead.
How I did mine was I took a list of, from when I was musically conscious, which was like 11 to, now. And I grew up with, we had Iraq War, then we had Iraq War, and then we had Afghanistan, Afghanistan, then the second Iraq War. But, so it was a lot of war, protest stuff. And I got some other little bit different things here, that the other things that are being protested, not just war. There's, there's a ghost song in here, so there's a little bit of a protest against religion. But actually, it's a melding of religion and government. We'll get there. Really, one of my favorite songs. So you want to hit it off? You want me to?
Yeah, kind of. I'll talk about the way I approached this.
Okay.
Same as you, I kind of looked at when I became listening to my own music. Mm-hmm. Not what my parents were playing on the radio or whatever. And I also think that there's a lot of protest songs, but I wanted ones that when you can listen to them 50 years, 60 years, or whatever later, and they're still relevant. Mm-hmm. You can listen to that song and go, oh, hey, that's exactly what's going on in the world today. And kicking it off, my first one is most definitely one of those. And you knew I was going to have this one on the list. It's a Steppenwolf song.
That's a great song.
Monster.
Oh.
Well, actually, the name of the song is Monster, Suicide, America. And it's written in 1969. I think it was released in 1969. And it's in 3 parts. Obviously, Monster, Suicide, America. And the first part is kind of an inconvenient look at American history. Real thumbnail sketch of American history. It addresses slavery and taking... The song in general addresses all of that at the beginning. Slavery, taking the land from the Indians... why America became America. Even though we did all those things, people were still coming here because they wanted to be part of this country. And the second part of it, suicide, is kind of like, the lyrics. There's a monster on the loose that's got our heads into the noose. Mm-hmm. And how we become this corrupt, somewhat lazy, country. And at the end of it, America is like, help save us. Mm-hmm. Somebody save us. And I'll read some of the lyrics. In the first part of it, actually this is how the song opens, is once the religious, the hunted and weary, chasing the promise of freedom and hope, came to this country to build a new vision far from the reaches of kingdom and pope. Like good Christians, some would burn the witches. Later, some got slaves to gather riches. So that's kind of a pretty strong opening there.
Actually, that's really good.
And it also touches on some good things. I didn't print all the lyrics. If we were going to do this, that would be...
Oh, we'd be here all day.
The second part of it, where we're talking about the suicide part of it, is the spirit was freedom and justice, and its keepers seemed generous and kind. Its leaders were supposed to serve the country, but now they won't pay it no mind. Because the people grew fat and got lazy, and now their vote is a meaningless joke. They babble about law and order, but it's all just an echo of what they've been told. And that is so relevant today.
Oh, yeah.
It really
very much.
I mean, absolutely right on the money. And the end of it is kind of the ending chorus. There's really only one. It's like a chorus to me. It's not really like a stanza or whatever, but it's, America, where are you now? Don't you care about your sons and daughters? Don't you know we need you now? We can't fight alone against the monster. And I just love that song.
That's great.
And first time I heard it was on a Sunday morning religious television show. My parents used to watch this Monsignor guy. I don't know who the hell he was. But for some reason, they had like a music video with this song. I don't know why. I don't remember
very
why, but I
strange.
vividly remember seeing and hearing this song
Huh.
being played, and my father was all pissed off. He wanted me to shut it off, and I said, "No, I'm not shutting that off. This is great," And I went out and bought the album. So, so yeah, that's a good song, and I think today I have it on my rotation. I have it on my playlist. It comes up, and I think, wow, that song is just right on the damn money. Today,
Yeah.
in 2024, it
Oh, it
is
is.
as relevant
Absolutely.
today as it was then, maybe even more so.
Oh, yeah.
So that's my first one.
Well, my first one actually ties directly into that theme. Let me write this down. And it is System of a Down, and the song is Hypnotize. And what it's about is about how governments do things. But their System of a Down's very like anti-corporate, anti-American, anti-government period, because they're from they escaped. Their whole family escaped. Oh my God, I cannot believe I can't remember. Armenia. They're Armenian.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And that whole thing, and they all escaped from that, and so they're very weary of oppressive military like government period. So, and this song is about governments working with your television, your media, and packaging things. Like the opening lyrics is. Why don't you ask the kids at Tenement Square was fashion the real reason they were there? It says they disguise it, they hypnotize it, television makes you buy it. It's like, damn, that's like the first words. You're like, oh, okay, I get it. And then the second big, it's only two verses in the song. It's only like 2 minutes and 50 seconds, maybe 3 minutes. But it says she's scared that I will take her away from there, dreams and her country. Dreams in her country left with no one there. Mesmerized, the single-minded, propaganda leaves them blinded. It's like,
Yeah, that's right on. I like that.
yeah, I've always loved that song. I remember when I started listening to that in like the dealership world.
Mm-hmm.
You listen to anti-American shit, and I was like, no, they're going to be on here a couple of times. These guys are great songwriters, and they lived. And when you learn about their story, you're like, oh no, I see why they are this way. And this was right as the Iraq War started, the second one.
Second one. Yeah.
And I like an idiot. I wrote everything else down but frickin' dates. I'm so sorry. I think it's like 2004 when that war really kicked off. And these guys were like, no, this is over oil. This is bullshit. This whole thing is, it turned out, guess what? It was all bullshit. Yeah, it kind of was. Yeah. And it was that whole album, Hypnotize. It was 2 albums, Hypnotize and Mesmerize, and those are just great albums of that era. Yeah, of course, the right wingers around here did not like them. Still don't really like them much, but it was. I don't know. It was kind of my first taste of that. Well, it's second taste, but my first real like adult taste of like, no, they got a point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
and yeah, that's System of a Down, Hypnotize.
good. My next one is another one you've heard a million times. For What It's Worth, the Buffalo Springfield.
Oh yeah.
And it was written by Stephen Stills. And believe it or not, it's not an anti-war song. Everybody thinks it is, but it's not. It's
Really?
about the Sunset Strip curfew riots in Los Angeles back in the late 60s. It was written in 1966, so I'm sure it took place around that time. What happened was all these clubs along the Sunset Strip, like the Whiskey A Go-Go and all that, they started getting really popular because they were booking in all these young popular bands like the Buffalo Springfield, who became a house band for, I think it was the Whiskey A Go-Go for a while. I don't remember. And the city fathers got a little upset about all the traffic when these clubs would close. And kids out on the street raising hell, making noise, like people do when they leave clubs and things like that.
Not rubbing bands of kids, no.
No. So what they, really. So what they decided to do was put a 10 o'clock curfew on.
Well, that always works.
So that really pissed off not only the people attending these clubs, but also the club owners. They weren't real happy about it either. So these kids protested. And some of them turned into you know, because the police showed up and got rough with them, and it kind of turned into riots and stuff. And Stephen Stills was watching this, going, sat down and wrote the song. You know how these guys do that shit.
Oh yeah, no,
It
it's
pisses me off. I wish I could do it.
yeah, me too.
But anyway, some of the lyrics here: paranoia strikes deep into your life; it will creep. It starts when you're always afraid. Step out of line, the men come and take you away. And we better stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody, look what's going down. People thought that was the title of the song too.
I did.
What's that sound? The name of the song is "For What It's Worth."
For what it's worth.
Yeah, and it's an excellent old Buffalo Springfield. A couple of guys in there that went on to form Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young,
Yeah.
Stephen Stills, and David Crosby, I think, was in that band too.
Really?
So yeah,
Pretty interesting.
so I always like that song. Again, that one's still on my rotation. I
Oh,
still
yeah.
listen to it
Oh,
all
yeah.
the time. Yeah. So up to you.
Well, this next one you should add to your rotation because it is one of the greatest '90s bands ever. This is a song from Primus.
Oh, Primus. I didn't
Yes.
know they wrote Protest.
Oh yes, they did. And Too Many Puppies.
Okay.
Fantastic song. I'll just start it. Too many puppies being shot in the dark. Too many puppies being trained not to bark. Too many puppies to be, I'm sorry, I'm terrible at reading out loud. Trained not to bark at the sight of blood or that must be spilled to maintain the oil fields.
Oh, okay.
This song was written in 1991 when we invaded Iraq. We were defending Kuwait, I guess. Technically, that might have been slightly just war. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know if there is a just one.
No, I agree.
There's a-
And then one of my, it is such a freaking great song. But what was it? Yeah, too many puppies being taught to heal. Too many puppies being taught or being trained to kill. And it's about people. He was seeing, what's his name? Claypool was seeing people his age. I mean, he's a kid at this time. Seeing people his age going off to war and dying on TV, and it's because that was the first real war that was all on TV.
Oh, yeah.
And he's just sitting there going, what in the hell? This isn't right. This isn't good. We can't be just running off these poor kids off the war. And they're being trained to not, to be, to him, and a lot of artists maybe look at that as they're being trained to only follow orders, to only do this, to only do that, and to be killers on command. And it bugged him. And I agree. So you should listen to that song. I don't know how you ever did not hear it.
No, I don't
Oh,
listen to
man,
a lot
what
of
was
them
it?
because a lot of the music's weird to me.
Yeah, too many puppies are just like me. Too many puppies are afraid to see the visions of the past brought to life again. Too many puppies are too many dead men.
Yeah, okay.
Great song.
That's good.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Always will. I don't know. I like Primus. They're weird as hell.
Yeah,
but,
I'm not a big fan.
and
I
that
like
song's a
some of their
little
songs.
weird too, but it's really, really good. And I don't know. I love
I
it.
know this Big Brown Beaver.
That's,
They're just kind of funny. That's why I always looked at them. It's like, okay,
yeah.
a couple
well,
of minutes of that, and I'm good.
yeah. No, I do highly recommend that one. All right. What you got?
I have, this is in the 60s when I grew up, late 60s, early 70s, there was a lot of racial strife in the world.
Mhm.
And I grew up in northern Maine, so I didn't get to experience any of that, thankfully.
Mhm.
But I was rooting around looking at a lot of lists that other people wrote of the best protest songs.
Mhm.
And I found this one, and I had never heard it before. The singer's name is Nina Simone,
Mhm.
and it's called Mississippi Goddamn. And it was, I sent it to you.
Yes, you did. Yeah.
And it was, she wrote and recorded that in 1964. And it was inspired by the 16th Street church bombing in Birmingham, Alabama, which killed a bunch of kids.
Mm.
And also the murder of civil rights activist Medgar Evans in Mississippi. And I heard that song and I thought, this is one of the best damn protest songs I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah,
and I had
it's-
never heard it. And reading the history on the song and stuff, it was banned in a lot of southern
That's
states.
surprised. Yeah.
Not surprisingly. I mean,
Yeah.
really. And I'm sure it was banned in Alabama, Tennessee, and Mississippi for sure. But anyway, some of the lyrics here is Alabama's got me so upset. Tennessee made me lose my rest. And everyone knows about Mississippi, goddamn. picket lines, school boycotts. They try to say it's a communist plot. All I want is equality for my sister, my brother, my people, and me. That's pretty powerful stuff, you know. And she sings the song like it's a show tune. And partway through the song, she stops and said, "This is a show tune, but the show hasn't been written yet." And it was just so good. I heard this thing, and I'm like, I've never heard this in my life. It was such a good song that I had to put it on a list, even though I'd never really heard it before, and I'll probably never listen to it again either. And some of her versions of this song, she used to substitute Tennessee with St. Augustine.
Oh, really?
Because they had a lot of racial stuff in St. Augustine back in the day. But our beautiful little St. Augustine, you know.
Yeah. Well, I believe it. You know, I mean, so, we had a school here that was named after a freaking Klansman, wasn't it? Yeah. So, I mean.
But, you know, that's a different culture, different time.
Yeah,
but anyway, you know, I'm not being political with any of these songs. I'm just saying that this is a damn good protest song.
Yeah.
And very well written and well performed. She does a fantastic job. You can find it on YouTube. It's really good.
Well, my next one is a band that just went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They are the protest band of my generation, and that is Rage Against the Machine. Say what you want about rap rock, the dudes had something to say, man. And they didn't hold back. You know, with F you, I won't do what you tell me. I mean, it's like, wow, okay. But it is Bulls on Parade, which is always my favorite Rage Against the Machine song, and they just jump into it. I mean, it's Rage. They're not gonna play there's no acoustics. there's no soft way of doing it. But I always like the second verse. It says, excuse me, I gotta lean in here. It says, "Weapons, not food, not homes, not shoes, not need. We just feed the war cannibal animal. I walk the corner to the rubble that used to be a library. The line, the mind of a cemetery now. What we don't know keeps the contracts alive and moving. They aren't." Oh man, it's so hard to read because it's hip hop, you know, kind of hip hop-ish. They don't gotta burn books, they just gotta remove them. While arms warehouse fill in as quick as cells, rally around the family with a pocket full of shells.
Yeah, I kind of agree with the book thing. You know, they don't have to burn them; they just have to take them away.
Just take them away, and
which pisses me off.
Oh, it's so much. And Rage has always been. Yeah. I mean, they are socialists practicing, and they believe in it a hardcore. I am not, but I believe in. I'm very capitalist. I know how the systems work, but they've always. But not all of their songs are socialist. You know, some of their songs are like, hey, we might want to help our own people, like I've been saying for years, you know, instead we're buying weapons. And that's kind of annoying to me, which is a theme in a lot of these songs. I must be really anti this buying weapons to go kill people.
Yeah, I've got some stuff on that here a little later.
Yeah. And Rage, they've done that in many songs. Sorry for my stumbling, man. I'm terrible at reading out loud. So it's... But, I just love Rage, always have. Rage Against the Machine. I'm glad they're in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame because they belong there, even though there's older people like, what the hell's that shit doing here? But no, they belong there. They were a revolutionary band of their time. How many bands have copied Rage Against the Machine?
Yeah, I don't know.
You know, Linkin Park, for Christ's sake. Yeah. You know, I mean, they have... Now, Linkin Park is much nicer, but they're very good songwriters. They were. Unfortunately, now passed. But yeah, that's that was my next one.
Yeah, my next one is Creedence Clearwater Revival, Unfortunate Son. Yeah, we've all heard that song probably a million times. But what's his name? CCR's head dude there.
Yeah, is it Fogerty?
Yeah, John Fogerty. Yeah, he wrote the song about... He said you'd hear about the son of this senator or congressman who was given a deferment from the military or a choice position in the military. And so he wrote the song about that. That's really what it's all about. And this song used to be is the key here, at Trump rallies. believe it or not.
Just
And
doesn't-
Fogarty issued his lawyers issued a cease and desist order to the Trump organization, and noting that Donald Trump received a draft deferment, by the way.
Mhm.
So why in the hell would he play that song at one of his rallies when he received a freaking draft deferment? I don't understand.
I could say it, but we'd become infamous real quick.
Anyway, some of the lyrics here is some folks were born to wave the flag. Ooh, they're red, white, and blue. And when the band plays Hail to the Chief, ooh, they point the cannon at you, Lord. It ain't me, I ain't no senator's son. It ain't me, I'm no fortunate one.
Hmm.
Your mom's phone is ringing.
Yeah, I can totally hear that. We're gonna get struck now because we have a copyright song as her ringtone.
No.
It's all right. Be fine.
Anyway,
We don't make any money anyway. It's all right.
this is a really good song, and it's a real good protest song. It protests, it's kind of stupid. I've seen it. You've seen it all throughout my history anyway, since I can remember, of politicians and kids getting plum jobs and things like that in the military, or not even going at all.
Oh, yeah.
Just get the deferment for heel spurs in
Yeah.
Donald Trump's case, or whatever whatever they can get away with. So it's a good song. I like it. I'm not a huge Creedence Clearwater Revival fan, but this is one of their better ones, I think.
Well, my next one is a little bit more anti-establishment of a kind. One of my favorite musicians in the world is Maynard James Keenan and his band Tool, but he also has another band called A Perfect Circle, and they're much more of his I'm gonna tell you how I think of the world kind of band, and then he has with Tool. It's more very philosophical, very instrumental. A lot of instrumental in A Perfect Circle, but it's much more to the point. And the song is Doomed. And what it is about, it's about his outlook of realistically, I see it as, because he's so cryptic in what he believes on it. He doesn't really talk to press much anymore. Except for maybe like Rick, he had that one interview with Rick Beato. I was like, holy shit, he's actually on something, But he, from what I'm gathering, listening to it, and from what I have read about it, it's him looking at religion today, but more of this far right religion. Maynard James Keenan is not a fan of government. Actually, one of his famous quotes is, "I hate every branch of the United States government." He just doesn't like it. Not because it's capitalist, not because it's socialist, just because he finds it all corrupt. Because there's a couple songs in there, one of them we'll get to later, which is about that, and really good songwriter. But the lyricist is, "Behold the new Christ, behold the same old horde, gather at the altar, a new beginning, a new word. And that word is and the word was death, and the word was without light. Behold," or excuse me, God damn, I can't read. The word was without light, with a new beatitude, good luck, you're on your own. And in it, it's like he later goes into the song. It says, like part of the sermon, like a sermon to a church. It says, "Blessed are the fornicates, may we bend down and be their whores. Blessed are the rich, may we deliver them and more. Blessed are the envious, blessed are the sloth and the wrathful and the vain. Blessed all the gluttons, may they feast us to famine and war." He's kind of, and you look at, I have my views on religion. I know people don't like them, and we won't go there. But I get what he's saying, and I love that song. And at the right in the middle of it, he does like an interlude. What about the pious? What about the merciful? What about all of them? And it just ends, "You're all doomed," And it's really about what I see happening in America. Let's be honest. There's a very strong movement in certain aspects of our country that it's not good, and I don't like it. And that song is really, hey, look right here, he's blunt in this one. And I think it ends with like, "Fuck the new, you're on your own," or something like that. It's like, yeah, it's I don't know, I've always loved his writing. A lot of people are like, man, he's a little on point sometimes, a little too on point. I guess people like a little bit of gray area in their lyrics. I'm like, it doesn't really mean that. No, he doesn't want to give you that gray area. And I loved it. And there's probably another one in here. I think I have a ghost one in here. So there might be a little religion in there. Sorry, religious people. But yeah, A Perfect Circle. That is a great album. Eat the Elephant. This is what it's called. Which always reminded me of you. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Which is exactly what that song is about. So great. And I probably should have put that on my desert playlist. You know, or desert. That's such a great album. But yeah, what you got?
I got a little lighthearted here.
Okay,
This is an environmental one.
Oh, here we go.
Big Yellow Taxi by Joni Mitchell.
So good.
Yeah, it's a great little song. She wrote Big Yellow Taxi on her first trip to Hawaii. She took a taxi, cool, to a hotel and woke up the next morning, threw back the curtains and saw these beautiful green mountains in the distance. Then looked down and there was a parking lot as far as the eye could see, and it broke her heart. This blight on paradise. So she sat down and wrote the song. And we all know the words to this, but they paved paradise, put up a parking lot with a pink hotel, a boutique, and a swinging hot spot. And another part of it is, hey farmer, farmer, put away your DDT. I don't care about spots on my apples. Leave me the birds and the bees, please. Don't it always seem to go? You don't know what you got till it's gone. They paved paradise and put up a parking lot.
Yeah.
And that's just a great little song.
It is.
It's been covered by a lot of people, including Counting Crows.
Yeah.
They do a nice version of it, actually.
I do like theirs a lot too. Yeah, a little poppy version. Of it, you know, I mean, it's kind of folky, but but there's.
But Joni Mitchell was a fantastic songwriter in her time, and her album Blue. If you ever want to listen to Joni Mitchell, pick that up and give that a listen. That's a fantastic album, really is. And I was never a fan of her music or all that, but there's some great songs on there.
All right.
And you're up.
Okay. My next one is unfortunately not a light one. None of mine ever are. Sorry, I like heavy metal. But System of a Down again, BYOB, and it does not bring your own booze, like I think a lot of people around here thought it meant, because I would hear that and I'm like, wow, these guys are listening to an anti-war song at work. And I've worked in very, like, America, kind of environment. And I was like, oh, maybe they don't listen to the lyrics. Oh, yeah, BYOB, don't you get it? Like, okay. And it's about, it sounds like a party song. Or actually, it hits hard in the beginning, right? Real fast, heavy metal. And then all of a sudden, the chorus is very... like la 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 la, doo doo. It's like very almost hip hop, Dancing is, what is it? Everyone is going to the desert, gonna have a really good time, or everyone's going to the party, have a really good time, dancing in the desert, blowing up the sunshine. It's about the Iraq War. They were staunchly against that war. And was it kneeling roses? Yeah, kneeling roses disappearing into Moses's dry mouth, breaking into Fort Knox, stealing our intentions. Hangers sitting dripped in oil, crying freedom, heading into obsolation still, yet you feed us lies from the tabletop. It's really good song.
Yeah.
But it is heavy. Like when it hits, you're like, holy shit. And then like I said, there's like this weird little party thing in the middle, and then it blasts off with he screams out blast off, and we're not a fascist nation. Where the F are you? The fuck are you? I mean, it's... And what my favorite line is that, why don't presidents fight the war? Why do they always send the poor? And I always love that, because just like Fortunate Son, that's the truth.
Yeah.
And the other guys get the deferment. Mm-hmm. And I always love that. And that's such a great song. But again, like I said, it's not a lot. It's not one you're going to put on the radio to relax at night. It's pretty... It's System of a Down at times. They can be...
It's not soothing music.
No, not at all. But yeah, that was my next one there.
Okay. Mine, next one is I Feel Like I'm Fixing to Die, Rag, by Country Joe McDonald. And he released this, and he wrote it in like 1966, but it didn't get onto an album or anything until 1967. And this was during the Vietnam War, of course. And the lyrics implicitly blame American politicians, high-level military officers, and industry corporations for starting the Vietnam War. And it's just a fun little jangly kind of folky song, but it's really to the point with the lyrics. And I'll read you some of them. It says, "Yay, come on, all you big strong men. Uncle Sam needs your help again. He got himself in a terrible jam way down yonder in Vietnam. So put down your books, pick up a gun. We're gonna have a lot of fun." You know? And said, "Well, come on, mothers throughout the land, pack your boys off to Vietnam. Come on, pops, don't hesitate. Send them off before it's too late. Be the first one on your block to have your boy come home in a box."
Ooh.
Yeah. And it's 1, 2, 3. What are we fighting for? Don't ask me. I don't give a damn. The next stop is Vietnam.
Yep.
You know, it is. Of course, this is on the opening 30, 40 minutes or so of the Woodstock movie documentary. And that's the first time I had heard it. I was probably 15 years old. I think I snuck into the theater because it was rated R. So I'm pretty sure I snuck into the theater to see it. I was like, man, that's a cool song. And really on point, you know. And Country Joe and the Fish and Country Joe McDonald, but he did it as a solo act, and he wasn't with his band at the time. He was just him and a guitar on stage in Woodstock and played it. It was a huge hit after that, you know. So great song, good little protest song, anti-Vietnam War. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, no, we should be more anti-war, I think.
I agree. I wonder what happened to all that.
I don't know.
Of course, here's a guy that spent 24 years in the military.
Yeah, but you know,
and another 20 years working for defense.
Yeah, you're the problem.
I'm the problem. Damn it! It's all my fault. Son of a bitch.
Well, my next one is a band that I was never a huge fan of, and I first heard the song, I was like, well, that's insulting. But then I thought, hey, they can't really mean that, so I'll listen to it. And it is Green Day, "American Idiot." That is actually a really, really good song. And when I first heard it, I was like, this is just mean. Like, America, we're not idiots. I mean, I was young.
Yeah, we are.
Well, you know, hindsight being what it is. And it's kind of everything that was happening. This song is very heavily about what they called the new media, which was the Rush Limbaughs and all of that. And he called it the redneck agenda, you know, and it is really good. Was it, I don't want to be an American idiot. I don't want to be under the new media. Or I don't want to be God damn, I cannot read today. I don't want a nation under the new media. And you can hear the sound of hysteria, the subliminal mindfuck America, you know, and it is just really good. It is actually a really good song, and I had to kind of like, oh, actually, Green Day did a good job on that one. I might want to be nicer on that. You know, and there's a lot of them. You know, Welcome the New Kind of Tension, All Across the Alienation, Where Everything Isn't Meant to Be Okay, Television Dreams of Tomorrow. We're not the ones who were meant to follow. For that's enough, for that's enough to argue. You know, it's an excellent written song. Sorry guys, I'm terrible at reading out loud for some reason today.
Yeah, that's
maybe because I'm blind and I can't read it.
I kind of have to agree with the song too.
Yeah,
I mean, you know, the Rush Limbaughs and all that. And I used to listen to those guys, but they've done a really good job of dividing America. So
you know, and like it says, I'm not a part of the redneck. I'm not a part of the redneck agenda. Now everybody do the propaganda, you know, and it's like, yeah, and it's
all propaganda.
It is, every bit of it is, and I just like I said, when I first heard it, I was like, that's just insulting. And like I said, like everything, you know, you gotta listen to the words and listen to what he means, and it's like, no, I agree with that, especially now as I've gotten older. It is a song that has grown on me a lot more.
Yeah,
as I've gotten older. When I was younger, I didn't really get it, but I wasn't really a Green Day fan, so I just kind of ignored it because I can't stand that one song that "Winding Road."
Yeah,
I hate that song. But it's one that's played all the time on the radio. But that's a great one. That one you don't hear as much on the radio because you know there's cussing and he had a point, and you know we can't have that. So, what you got?
I have Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, Ohio.
Mm.
Yeah, it's about the Neil Young wrote the song after he saw pictures of the Kent State National Guard shooting, where 4 students were killed in Ohio. It was a turning point for support in the war. I mean, a lot of people still supported the Vietnam War at the time, and they blamed the violence at these protests and stuff on the students doing the protesting.
Well, like they do today.
Yeah, and at the all of a sudden after this happened, I think people woke up and said, "What the hell are we doing here?" You know, and this war is, we don't need to be doing this.
Yeah.
And you know, it was kind of a turning point, I think, a good one. You know, and you know, the National Guard shooting students who have a constitutional right to protest.
Yeah.
They weren't violent. They weren't doing anything. You know, they were, but some trigger happy young soldier pulled the trigger, and one thing led to another, and 4 students were killed.
4 dead in Ohio.
Yeah, 4 dead in Ohio. Yeah, 10 soldiers and Nixon coming. We're finally on our own. Excuse me. This summer I hear the drumming. 4 dead in Ohio. Ohio. Got to get down to it. The soldiers are cutting us down. Should have been gone long ago. What if you knew her and found her dead on the ground? How can you run when you know? And that was a good part of that song to me, because it kind of asked you, okay, you can say that this violence was caused by them, but what if you knew her?
Yeah.
What if you knew that dead girl on the ground?
Oh yeah.
You know, it's time to stop and think. You know, and I always liked the song. It's a great song. Yeah, Neil Young was never one of my favorites, but he did a good job with this one.
He wasn't a bad songwriter.
He wasn't a bad
sometimes.
songwriter.
Yeah.
Not a great singer, but he did a good job singing this one too. Actually, I kind of like this song. So
Damn, we're a bunch of hippies.
another, yeah, I know. I always was a kind of a
Always
kind
run
of
a
a
little
hippie. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. I didn't take a lot of this stuff throughout my life too serious.
Yeah.
Because always deep down inside, I was a kind of a little bit of a hippie. So yeah, that's a good one.
Okay. Well, my next one is Ghost. The song is the 20s. And it came out actually in 2020, ironically. Who would have thought, right? And it's about, again, government, religion, using God to control people, using God to bring the hearts of the minds to people. And I love Ghost, and he's a great songwriter, but he's very theatrical in his ways of presenting things. I mean, like the little demon-looking pope and stuff like that. I get why he's not well liked in America necessarily, but I always like he does a thing in here like how's it go? It says listen up, hatchet man, set controls for the hearts of the land, tell them all it is time, you are the next in the chain of command, apparition, detect the course of collision, suspicion for the right to become to fruition. You know, see what he's doing there. It's like, oh, and you know, they do like in the 20s, we're singing in the rain of pennies. In the 20s, we'll be soaring in the skies as bevies. In the 20s, we'll be smooching with the feet or at the feet of the ruler. In the 20s, we'll be grinding in a pile of moolah. But at the end of that, he does that chorus. But in the very end of the song, he changes it from "we'll be grinding in a pile of moolah" to "we'll be grabbing them all by the hoo-ha." I'm like, he has a way of just slipping in things, you know. I love the second verse. It says, "You listen up, you motherfuckers. You Ivy League dopes want to mock us. Tell them all this is war, and fighting a war is for suckers. Assassinate, gather the tools to disintegrate. Hate, reaping the seeds like or has a reprobate." And it's like, oh damn, you know, like I get what he's saying, you know. And he, like I said, he brings it back because he's Swedish. They're a Swedish band, and he has that. He talks about how we have this big movement in Sweden. This is happening, but then he still likes to point it. You know, hey, look, America, grab them all by the hoo-ha, you know. And I really, that's such a great line. When I heard that, I was like, oh, that's clever. That's just clever bringing it right back in. Yeah, but as and it's. It's a heavier song from them because they're usually kind of 70s rock like. They're kind of like the modern 70s rock band, you know. But that one's a little bit of a harder hitting song, but it is an excellent song. And I agree with them. You know, they're a little too quick around in this world to use religion against its people.
Yeah.
And I don't like it. You know, let people believe what they want, and I don't care. But man, let's not do that. That's not cool.
I agree.
Yeah, that's my one song there. Like I said, Ghost is, if you had never listened to Ghost, you need to. Don't listen to what all the religious people say about it, but also know that they are not religious. So, all right.
All right. I have a Bob Dylan song here, but it's not the one you think it's going to be.
Uh-oh.
You thought it was going to be Blown in the Wind, didn't you?
No, I actually just think the times are changing.
That one too.
I freaking love that song.
Yeah.
But yeah.
This is called Masters of War.
Ooh, I don't think I've heard that one.
No, I never heard it either till the other day when I was researching this. I really had a good time researching this stuff.
Oh, I did too.
Because I went through so many different songs and stuff that I had never heard. I'm thinking, wow, this is all good stuff. This is not an anti-war song as such. It's speaking against what Eisenhower was calling a military-industrial complex as he was making his exit from the presidency. The spirit was in the air. This is Bob Dylan, I quoted here. And I picked it up. It's been covered by many people, including, believe it or not, Ed Sheeran, who as late as 2015. But I had never heard this song. So it was written in 1963. So some of the lyrics, I put 3 verses of it on here because to me it's that good.
Well, it's Bob Dylan.
It says, "Come you masters of war, you that build the big guns, you that build the death planes, you that build all the bombs, you that hide behind walls, you that hide behind desks. I just want you to know I can see through your masks. Let me ask you one question. Is your money that good? Will it buy you forgiveness? Do you think that it could? I think you will find when your death takes its toll, all the money you made will never buy back your soul." And he gets really hard at it here. And he says, "I hope that you die and your death will be soon. I'll follow your casket by the pale afternoon. I'll watch while you are lowered down to your deathbed, and I'll stand over your grave till I'm sure that you're dead." I mean, that was Bob. You're on
metal,
something here.
actually.
What are you doing? You know? But I actually listened to it. I have a hard time listening to Bob.
Oh, he is.
Because,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, I get it.
and but he's a great songwriter. I'll never argue that. And this is fantastic.
Oh, okay. 1 second. Sorry about that. We're back.
Okay, sorry. Had to. Anyway, I'd never heard this song before. I never heard of it, but it brought back a memory. I was kind of late in my second career, which I never thought would have been a career, but as a defense contractor, and we're in Crystal City, Virginia. And if you're not familiar with that, that's where all the defense contractors are. Mm-hmm. And I'm in the back seat of the car with my boss and some other folks. I don't remember where we're going or why we're going there, but I'm looking around, and the tallest buildings and the brightest buildings and all that are all like, you know, Northrop Grumman and all these big defense contractors. And it kind of hit me. The old hippie in me came out and said, "There's something wrong with this." Mm-hmm. I mean, why are all they're building this shit, these buildings, with our money? You know, I mean, and I don't know. I just kind of felt wrong all of a sudden, and it wasn't long after that I decided to
retire.
And I was like, you know, this.
No, I get it.
You know, I don't know. I just looked around, going, you know, there's people on the street over here that can't afford to pay their rent.
Yeah.
Because you're building these buildings, making rents so friggin' high around here.
Yeah.
You know, they're living in tents and boxes and shit, you know, and I got a little upset about that.
Oh,
and it stuck with me. And then I found this song, I'm going, shit, I could have figured this out in 1963 or whatever.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it was kind of a moment for me.
Yeah.
I probably shouldn't have talked about that, but.
Yeah, of course. They'll get over it.
Yeah.
What are they going to do, fire you?
No.
Exactly.
They won't listen to us anymore.
Oh, that's right.
Not that many people do, so.
That's okay.
Okay.
Well, my next one is for one folk singer to another. is White Buffalo.
Oh yeah, that's a good song.
Wish,
I know where you're,
yeah,
I know where you're going with this one.
wish it was true.
Yeah.
Hits the feels every damn time. That is a beautiful song. The best version is the one where it's just him and acoustic guitar. That song is freaking-tastic. So I don't know. Probably won't make it through the lyrics. It tears me up. I don't know.
No, that's okay. Don't worry.
Hits me every time. But it's a beautiful song. I highly recommend it. It's about a soldier coming home and being completely disillusioned in what happened.
Yeah.
You know, and I always like the line was that I was a country, I was a soldier for you. I did what you asked me to do. What you asked me to, it was wrong and you knew. You know, I love that country. Now I'm a stranger to you. A number and a name, it's true. You threw me away when you were through. The home of the brave and the free, the red, white, and blue. But I wish it was true.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. So.
I don't know why it hits me either. It's weird. Just freaking does. Beautiful song. But no, his music is very good for country. He's considered country. He's more folk to me, but some of his songs are a little country. But he's an Oregon guy too, which is kind of weird. Big old freaking beard. Yeah, he's an Oregon guy.
A little hippie-ish. I guess.
A little hippie-ish. So I guess he's a hippie country. Maybe the country today doesn't like him. I don't know. That's why he's on the outskirts. But he's very good. And his song, man, he's a great song. And there's another one on there. It's like Last Call or whatever. It's kind of like a weird spin on that Charlie Daniels song about, but he just about getting the last call before the devil comes. It's a fantastic. Yeah, it's kind of like a weird twist on it, but it's a little bit heavier, and it's a little bit like weight. His songwriting's so much more weighty. It's great. It is a fantastic song, and this song is probably one of my top 10 favorite songs ever made. Don't listen too much. Hits me too hard. I don't know why. It just does.
Yeah, some songs get me.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a couple. Man, I don't like reading the lyrics either. And that's one of them, because even the opening of that song, you're just like, immediately you're like, oh, fuck. It's great. Okay, that was that one.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. Next one for me is a song called Handsome Johnny. And it's Richie Havens. I don't know if you've ever heard
No, I don't
Richie
know that
Havens.
one.
Actually, he opens the music part of the Woodstock movie with a song called Freedom. And
okay, yeah, I know that. Yeah. Freedom.
Yeah. They asked him to go back out on stage because they had some technical issues and didn't have the next act set up.
Oh, really?
So he didn't know what to do, so he just sang that Freedom thing over and over again for about 15 minutes.
That's pretty awesome.
But yeah, he also did this song at Woodstock, but it didn't make the movie. It's called Handsome Johnny. It's an anti-war anthem.
Yeah.
And well, there's the trend here.
Oh, yeah.
Because of the time, I think, the 60s, all day.
Yeah, you think we both, our generation that grew up with wars.
Well, I think all of our generation.
Realistically, yeah.
But anyway, it's an anti-war anthem. It follows a typical soldier marching through history's famous battles all the way up through the Vietnam War and the Civil Rights protests marches in Birmingham, Alabama. And a little fun fact here that I didn't know, Lou Gossett Jr. co-wrote the lyrics.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, the actor. Yeah.
He's also a great
He was a
singer.
folk singer.
Yeah,
I had no idea.
Yeah.
And basically, it starts out, this is the first verse. Hey, looky yonder, tell me what you see, marching to the fields of Concord. It looks like Handsome Johnny with a musket in his hand, marching to the Concord War. Hey, marching to the Concord War. Of course, that was our revolution. Then it goes to the Civil War. Hey, looky yonder, what do you see? It's Handsome Johnny with a musket in his hand, or not a musket, but a different kind of rifle in his hand, marching to the whatever battle. I forget what the battle was. And it goes, he skips World War I for some reason. It goes to World War II, and that's, hey, looky yonder, here's Handsome Johnny with an M1 in his hand marching to the Dunkirk War. And it goes all the way through to Vietnam. And then the Birmingham, Alabama is like, hey, looky yonder, tell me what you see, marching in Birmingham. It's Handsome Johnny with his hand curled in a fist, marching to the Birmingham War.
Oh,
Oh yeah, it's really,
it's
really, really good.
Yeah.
And then he kind of urges listeners to take a stand. He says, "Tell me what it is we've got to do. Wait for our fields to start glistening. Hey, wait for the bullets to start whistling. Hey, here comes the hydrogen bomb, and here comes a guided missile. Here comes a hydrogen bomb. I can almost hear its whistle. I can almost hear its whistle." Then that's kind of the end of the song. You know, and it's a really good song. I have a recording of it somewhere.
That's really good. I have to check that out.
And, and he was not a real famous guy. I mean, a lot of people don't know about him, but that's a good song that he wrote there, Handsome Johnny. I like it.
Well, my next one is not System of a Down, but it is the singer of System of a Down. They have a trend. They have a theme, you know. And it is his name is Serge Tankian, and the song is Empty Walls. This song is fantastic. Musically, fantastic. I mean, it's what it's about. It's about during when the Iraq War started, all these bodies were coming home. You know, boxes were coming home with men in them. You know, the coffins, and the news media, of course, and the Bush administration. We killed 40,000 of theirs. They only killed 800 of ours. They still, that doesn't make it better, right? And he wrote this song about it, about empty walls. You know, your empty walls. And then the chorus line, or the pre-chorus line, the build-up for the song, it says, "Don't you see their bodies burning, desolate and full of yearning, dying of anticipation, choking on intoxication. Don't you see?" And then he repeats it. You know, and then it's, what is it? I want you to be left behind those empty walls, taunt you to see from behind those empty walls. Talking about putting the blinders on, you know, you don't, just look over there, you know, and it is fantastic. And it's about how violence in society, like the song begins with, a lot of people are mad at this video because it might have been too soon, but these kids build 2 block towers and they throw an airplane.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but then it has kids playing war. You know, kicking in the door of the Barbie playhouse. You know, dragging out somebody. Like there's a line in there that says, "I loved you before you killed my family." You know, I mean, it's a really, really good song, and he put on his most Zappa because he kind of looks like Frank Zappa. Serge, he has a little thing there, the mustache, but he's even wearing a top hat in this one. You know, he looks just like, I was like, holy crap! But guy can sing, and that man, it's a very, very good song, very powerful. But it's only really, he repeats the same words pretty much the whole song, but it's at the end of it, you're like, damn, you know, it's really good, and I've always loved it. The music to it is amazing, very driving rhythm, just goes, it just takes off. But like I said, yeah, some people were a little not happy about his music video, which maybe too soon. I don't know. Read the room a little bit, you know. Yeah, I think it was like 2000. Actually, no, it was about 2007. Or no, when was the Iraq War started? It was like right then, the second one.
I don't remember. I don't know.
I think it was like it went on for too long. That's all I know. But and it was just about, you know, okay, yeah, we lost 800 men. That is horrible. I don't care if we killed 40 of theirs. That's just as horrible. Like it's you know, it's loss of life is what you're trying to tout is meaningless. It's just a massive loss of life, and it's unnecessary. And I think that's really what it's about. And it's just stop trying to turn our direction from this because your war is not popular. You're wrong, you know. And I loved it. I always did. And you know, Serge's. You know, System of a Down is a great band. Wish they'd get back together. But that's it.
Okay, my last one. Yay, everybody's cheering. I can hear you. It's Black Sabbath, 1970, War Pigs.
Oh, that's a great song.
Yeah.
I was wondering if you're going to put that on there.
Yeah, I wasn't going to. I was going to put some other ones that I dug up. But I thought, yeah, this is a good one. Actually, the original title of the song was not War Pigs. It was called Walpurgis, which I had never heard of, but it's sort of it's dealing with witches, the witches' Sabbath. I don't know witches had a Sabbath. I don't know anything about this stuff, but it's sort of like Christmas for Satanists, according to the bass player who wrote the song.
Bill Ward?
No,
No.
he's the drummer.
Geezer Butler.
Geezer Butler. Yeah. And to me, war was the big Satan, said the bassist and lyricist Geezer Butler's written right here. It wasn't about politics or government or anything. It was evil itself. He's writing just about, So I was saying generals gather in their matches like witches that like masses as an analogy. Okay, so now I get it. I mean, but when they brought it to the record company, they thought that the wall purges sounded too satanic. Which I guess you could say that. I mean, it's about, so that's when we turned it into War Pigs. He said we didn't change the lyrics because we're already finished with the song.
Yeah.
So, politicians hide themselves away. They only started the war. Why should they go out to fight? They'll leave that role to the poor.
Yeah.
Time will tell their power minds, making war just for fun, treating people like pawns in chess. Wait till their judgment day comes. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good song. It really is. It's one of the better anti-war songs I think that's ever been written.
Yeah, there's a really good video on YouTube. A woman did an animated video of that, of the whole thing. I'll have to find it for you. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really follows.
That was the lead-off song in their second album.
Was it?
And yeah, I remember I had that album when I was just a little kid. Put that on. I was like, wow, this is... And they were reading more about it. They were afraid they were going to have to go and get drafted into the Vietnam War. They had stopped the draft in England at the time, but they were afraid it was going to get started up again, and that they were going to join us in Vietnam. And I don't know if they ever did or not. I have no idea.
I don't know if they did.
I don't think so.
I would hope not.
But
I'd like to think. I mean, they did.
And
eventually.
he grew up. You think he's a few years older than I am? He grew up in post-war England. After he's from Birmingham. That whole city was bombed at.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hitler in World War II. So yeah, I'm sure he remembers all that.
Oh, yeah. Now, my last one is Another Perfect Circle, and it's The Contrarian. I love this song. It's great. It's the opening is Hello, he lied. Like velvet, this magician. He's a sleight of tongue in hand. Hello, he lied. Beware his smile. Is warm and calculated as heroin. Beware the contrarian. It's really good. Everyone has a scale, a voice. Everyone but him. Core's black as pitch. Soul is out of tune. Advocates of none. Beware. Believe his smile. Belie his smile. Will cost you everything. Cloak in masquerades. Contempt for everyone. Hello, hello, he lied. That was a really good song, and it's about politicians. I mean, it's Maynard. He doesn't like them. He just straight hates them.
Yeah,
and
I kind of hate him too.
Oh, I agree with him. And that song, first time I heard that song, I said, "Oh wow, that is such a familiar thing in America today." And his whole thing is, why would you believe any of them? They're all full of shit. Every damn one of them. And he's right. Man, that is a powerful song, a very good song. I love it. I guess it's a good one to end on.
Yeah, I'm done.
Yeah, I'm done. So, I got to do my little shout outs to the songs. Some of the songs I did that grew up around me, but I didn't live in those areas. I'm a suburb kid. Grew up in the suburbs. But you got to look at guys like NWA. They were out doing their thing much more directly. Tupac, you read some of those Tupac lyrics. They were very much protesting what was going on in their neighborhoods, and they were great. And I do. But I just didn't, unfortunately, I didn't have that music around me. And I've heard it as I've gotten older. I'm like, no, they're good. So I do want to give them a shout out. Those guys, Tupac is dead. He was killed, got down, I think, in Las Vegas. But, and Eazy-E of NWA, he passed away. I think he had AIDS. I think. I might be wrong, so don't quote me. But the rest of the guys are still alive. They get together every now and again and do stuff, but... So I gotta give them their shout out from the '90s perspective of hip hop back then, and there's probably many more I don't know about. There's probably many more other songs that we did not mention.
Oh yeah, I could have put 20 or 30 songs on this list, and some of them I had never heard before.
Really?
And it was just like, wow, I never heard this. Where was I for this? And a lot of them were civil rights songs, course, I had never heard those. Like I said, I grew up in Caribou, Maine, for crying out loud. You know, we didn't, you know, that was shit you saw in the news and didn't really care about, I guess. And I found a lot of those, and I also figured out that rap music is not new.
No,
These people were doing that stuff in the early '60s.
Oh yeah, that's
you know,
what. Yeah,
and,
that was interesting. We kind of all learned that actually.
Yeah, and there's some really good songs there. You know, and like I said, I didn't grow up in that time, that part of the country.
Yeah, same here. You know, and
I know very little about it.
I used to always find it weird when you would see, like, I'd see kids I went to high school with listening to Tupac, because I'm like, that's
not music. It's not for us.
It's not for you. Like, I don't. I know you like the beat, but the words, the man. I guess because I'm weird. I've always been about the lyrics, and you listen to the lyrics. That song is very powerful. I mean, Tupac. I think it was Ghetto Gospel. That is a excellently written song. That's what I think he did with Elton John in the beginning. Read the words to that. That is a fantastic song. But these kids will listen to it, but they'd have it all turned up so their car shook with the bass. And I'm like, I think you guys might be missing the point on this.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. But that's some good music. I don't know.
Some of these protest songs are just good songs.
Yes.
You know, you don't have to listen to the words if you don't want to. No, most of these ones I put in here are just good songs.
Yeah, just do like most people do with BYOB. Just listen to the music.
Yeah. So I wanted to find some different ones, though, and I got down in some rabbit holes with this thing. I really enjoyed putting this list together.
Yeah.
I thought it was fun. I hope the podcast comes across.
Oh, I hope so. Like I said, sorry I got a little emotional with that. I don't know what it is with that song, man. Maybe it's the way he presents it. I have no idea. But it's fantastic. And please go listen to that. That guy is I don't like country music. So that is the highest praise I can give to a country music guy. I love that guy's music. He is fantastic, and I highly recommend it. Not saying I'd go see him or anything, but I do like his music. It is some good. He is a fantastic singer.
Yeah, he is good. I listened to some of his songs.
And he doesn't sound like a country singer.
Yeah.
He has a hell of a voice
really
on
good.
him. Yeah.
He's more of a folk singer to me.
I think so. To me, that's more folk. Yeah. But he's, country sucks up everything.
Yeah.
Oh, you got an acoustic guitar. You're country. Well,
Yeah,
not really.
Not really.
But your car, it's acoustic. You're country. Yeah. I mean, they tried to take ZZ Top. How many times were they on the country music channel?
Oh, I know. Yeah. They're more of a blues band than.
And they stole Leonard Skinner. They own them now.
Yeah. Well, they can have them.
Yeah. Good point.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, don't be. But that's all we got for this week. I know it's a little bit longer one.
I do have a quote, though.
Oh, you do?
Quote. Yes. I was trying to find who said it, so I can't give you the author, but so I'm not taking credit for it. I read it somewhere, but it's never argue with a person whose television is bigger than his library.
Damn, I like that.
Think about it.
Yeah, it's very good. And on that note, I think we will end.
Yeah.
Because that is a good note and a good thought. And now I'm just thinking about the size of my library, my big TV. Damn. No, I was kidding. Everyone have a wonderful week, and we'll talk to you next time. Goodbye.
Take care, everyone. Bye.